in a happy Halloween special filled with ghosties and ghoulies and things that go bump in the night. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, Monday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Hey, boss, since we've been on the topic of Halloween movies, who do you think's hotter, Daphne or Velma?
Velma.
Really?
And the second one with the latex suit, yeah. Definitely. Now put that back. Hello everybody and welcome to another Brown's Video Store review. Today I'm joined by my fellow employee here in the video store, my buddy Ryan, and today we're going to be reviewing H20. Obviously, not a well-known, but also not a beloved, but also kind of beloved Halloween movie that came out back in 1998. We just went through it on the video screen here, and we're going to be discussing it for you guys, so let's get right into it.
Let's get at it.
Alright, so just jumping right off the bat, I very much enjoyed how the movie started.
The opening sequence was absolutely fucking awesome.
Yeah, lots of fall festivities and stuff going on, really got the vibe going. I like the Mr. Sandman intro that it started off with, just like the first movie, to the point where it even plays again in Laurie's car later on, which was cool.
I really liked how they brought the nurse back.
Yeah,
from the first film.
It was nice to see
and kept
her
the
again.
continuity with that, and finding out she was still with the doctor after all those years taking care of him and stuff while he's going insane.
That's right. We find out she's been helping and watching after Dr. Loomis from the first movie as he's been getting older. I guess both him and Michael did not die in Halloween 2, where they both exploded in a fiery inferno in the hospital, but that's here or there.
Yep.
Anyway, so she finds out her house is broken into, and the first thing she does is go and recruit some teenagers for some reason, which is a genius way to think about it. I guess you don't call the police or do anything else.
So she recruits teenagers with the sun up.
Correct. Yes, that's important.
She recruits two neighbor boys.
Yeah.
While the sun is quite up.
Yeah. Two neighbor boys, one of them which is played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, our boy Robin, our boy wonder. At this point still, he's very young in this movie. I would guess he's probably something like
13.
Yeah, 13, 14.
Teenager. Little dirtbag.
So they both agree. Well, she says we need to call the police when she reaches the house with the kids. One of the kids, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, decides that we're gonna go inside her house and find out what's going on, and he brings a hockey stick with him, of course, because
after the fact that
they're into hockey.
After the fact that they said they were gonna call the police.
Yes, so they've called the police at this point. It's daylight. They've called the police after what just happened.
The sun's out. They've called police.
They then leave the house to go get it checked out by the kids, which is genius. The kids go into the house. Cue Joseph Gordon-Levitt going into the house.
Yeah, just the one kid.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt goes into the house to go see, because that's what you do, I guess, when you think somebody broke into your house.
And while the cops have been called.
Yeah, and the kid goes through the entire house. Doesn't take that long. It's a couple cuts. He ends up destroying her kitchen because he's trying to steal beer and gets jump scared by her ironing board that comes out of the wall. So he destroys her kitchen, which I said to him, I'm like, watch, he'll blame that on the breaking and entering, and sure enough, that's exactly what he does when he comes back out. But also, he comes out of the house, it's been like maybe 5 minutes, and it is now pitch black.
And the cops still aren't there.
Then the cops still are not there. Yeah, it wasn't even close to nighttime yet, and it is now pitch black, and the police have still not shown up. So, the kids decide and tell her, hey, you're all safe and sound. You're good to go back in your house. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt and the other kid, I forget.
Go back home.
I feel bad for the other actor because I don't know his name, and I didn't see anything else, so I don't know him. But they go back home. And the nurse, Marion, goes back inside I believe it's Nurse Marion, I think that's her name for the first movie. She goes back in the house, tries to turn on the power, where she finds out there's no power, which is a telltale sign that Michael's been tinkering with your electricity.
Worst electrician.
Yeah, don't hire Michael Myers for your electric needs.
They'll just turn it off and kill you.
Right, and not pay the bill like a total asshole. Anyway, she then leaves the house and goes back to the kid's house again. I don't know what this woman's doing. Grown-ass adult going to talk to some kids for everything. But anyway, she goes back in there to ask them, I don't know what for, something about the power or whatever. And she comes to find Joseph Gordon-Levitt has hockey skates straight through his friggin' face.
Just the one, I think.
Yeah, one.
Single skate just planted in his face.
She goes to run out of the house, out of another door, and opens the door to find the other kid, who falls onto her with a knife in his back. And like he said, sure enough, at that same time at her house, the police have now arrived.
Finally show up.
Like 3 hours fucking later. Greatest response time of all. Now I'm starting to understand how Michael could have killed like 80 people in the first movie, because who knows? Anyway, they're not great. So he basically is going after her in the other house while the police are checking in to her house, and they realize, at first they think it's a prank call, they say. I've heard him say it in the movie here. But finally they begin to understand that it's a burglary or a B&E, because they go into the house and see. All the while, the Nurse Marion is still fighting Michael in the other house, trying to fight him off. Basically, she ends up
breaking a window.
She breaks a window, yeah. I'm trying to think if she like attacked him first with something like a knife or something before that. But she breaks a window to try to get the police's attention, and the police are oblivious. And before she can get any word to them, Michael comes in and slices her right in the neck.
Yeah,
and
slits her throat.
Yeah, and tick that off the box of Nurse Marion dying in these movies, where she dies like every single movie she's in. I feel bad for this actress. You could have a 45-minute kill count video of just her scenes where she dies in these movies. She must get used to that, I guess. But anyway, that's it basically for the opening intro, and it just cuts back off. Oh no, one last thing. Michael ends up stealing her car while the police are finally noticing and going to investigate the broken window. Not the fact that there's a sliced woman with her neck open in the house, but just they notice the broken window. Meanwhile, they go over there. Michaels drives away in her
with police outside
in one of the kids' cars, I would guess, because it was the kid's house, not hers. So he leaves in another car.
It's a pretty nice car, though.
It was a nice car.
Cool.
It was a nice car. And
but the fact that he leaves, lights off, the cops are there. I swear, one turn and watch him pull out.
Yeah.
But no one stops him.
No one stops him.
There's been 3 murders in the house. So the cops have 3 bodies in a house, and there's a guy leaving in a car from the same house.
Yeah.
And no one does anything.
We still don't know who or how Michael knows how to drive a car.
Yep, that's still
keep that in mind.
Has
that's
not
never been
never been answered.
Never been answered.
No one's ever taught him. We don't know who's taught him how to drive.
We then move on to Southern Glen? Is that what it's called?
Summer
Glen.
Summer Glen,
California. A fictional town in California where our main protagonist, Laurie Strode, is now the headmistress of a, as she put it, preppy, secluded teen school, I guess, like a prep school for kids, for high school students up in Northern California.
And what was her name? Miss Tate?
Yeah, she is now Laurie Tate instead of Laurie Strode.
She wakes up screaming.
So Laurie Strode, the headmistress of the school.
Now Laurie Tate.
Now Laurie Tate, thank you. Wakes up screaming in her bed from a vision or night terror of Michael Myers returning. We find out it's been 20 years since she has been attacked by him in 1978, hence why the movie takes place in 1998. So she wakes up screaming. Her son, who is a new character that's being introduced in this movie, wakes her up and basically says, hey, get over it. Not exactly, but he brings her some medication because it seems like she's still dealing with the aftermath of Michael attacking her.
Well, she's been dealing with that, so they have medication in case because they think she's psychotic.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Which, I mean...
yeah.
She is, but she isn't.
Yeah, it makes sense. So, she settles it, and then the first scene we have with him and her basically is they're discussing about her son being able to go on a trip to Yosemite because he believes that he's being kind of coddled as a son because his mom is such a...
Well, he's been taking care of his mom and dealing with her fits for his entire life.
His mom is a helicopter parent because of the things that happened to her from Michael Myers, which I can kind of understand where she's coming from, but...
The drunk, abusive, methadone addict ex-husband.
Absolutely, that's true. Yes, that
Laurie really knows how to pick them.
But yeah, Laurie knows how to pick them. That's true. She attracts great men in her life. Anyway,
to quote, actually, that's not the quote her son. What?
That's what. Yeah, that's what.
That was
said.
The quote. Yeah, the quote her son.
Anyway, they argue about him going. He says basically, "I'm going anyway." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, basically, fuck you,
and she
Mom.
says no. So They then cut to the next scene where it is the introduction of the school, and it is the son meeting up with a slightly older Alan Parrish. Yes, the kid, the actor. I don't know the actual actor's name, but the friend of his, the guy friend of his, is the slightly older actor from the kid who played Alan in Jumanji. I only had that on the mind recently because I watched that movie again recently, so it was strange to see him in the movie. I don't really ever see him in anything else, so he's just Alan Parrish as far as I'm concerned.
He survived the events of Jumanji and then got sent to the prep school.
Yeah, poor kid finally survives Jumanji, goes back to being the kid at the end of Jumanji, lives a little bit, and then he's about to meet Michael Myers. He moved to California, he's going to meet Michael Myers, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. The kid is also a sex hormone fiend. He is fucking always talking about banging his girlfriend.
He's a hormonal driven teenager.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense for teenagers at this time. That's true, especially preppy kids because they probably don't get to do as much. But anyway, they are talking about how they're no longer going to be going to Yosemite, and they are instead going to plan a Halloween party. Inside the dorms, inside the school, basically in the basement of the school. It seems.
I think so.
I was asking the entire time while we were watching, where are they right now?
It had to have been like the lower levels. It looked like a basement kind of thing, especially with the because there was a dumbwaiter that they were using to bring stuff up and down. That'll come very important later.
Yes, yeah. So they decide to have a Halloween party. Another scene goes by, and we're introduced to Laurie's love interest, which is the guidance counselor.
Yeah, the guidance
of the
counselor.
School. Yeah, and this dude is he's making the other kid have a run for his money. He is so down bad. Yeah, he's so poor Alan Parrish. He's kicking Alan Parrish's ass because he is so horned up for Jamie Lee Curtis, 90s Jamie Lee Curtis, which I guess, to his credit, yeah, but you're still
see her now.
He's still in the school, like pick a place. And she even says something like that, like workplace, like he's like trying to eat her face in one scene that we're introduced to him by.
He was ready to whip it out right there.
Yeah,
whip it good.
Yeah, that's what he wanted to do. Anyway, so we're quickly introduced to him, and then he leaves. Yeah, there's like a secretary woman that's right outside of Laurie Strode's office because it seems like she really is the headmistress, like she says and everything. So she's got a secretary, and he goes in with her, chews on her face for 30 seconds, and then bounces. And so the secretary's looking at him like, basically, like,
you don't fully see the face, but you can kind of pick up just by the body language.
The vibe where she's like, what's going on in there, you know?
Anyway, body language said a lot.
Yeah. So we cut to the introduction of one of the greatest characters in this movie, LL Cool J, the security officer for the school, played by LL Cool J.
Yeah.
He is a security officer for the school, but he wants to write movies or might write scripts, novels, stuff like that. He wants to let his creative juices flow, is how he puts it basically in the movie. And he's writing some of the most sensual, sexual books I have ever heard anything even read, and I'm
straight smut.
Seriously, and it's LL Cool J reading this with like 110% passion. It's just bizarre. It is bizarre. But
to his wife,
his wife over the phone, and his wife is not having it. She's not.
Well, she was feeling it.
That's later. The first time she's like, "This is a waste. Your writing is terrible." Like wife of the year, basically. It's the equivalent of the "Where's my super suit" moment, but for LL Cool J, you know, she's just not about it. But anyway, the kids, while he's talking to his wife about trying to write these books that he wants to do, and saying sweet nothings into his wife's ear when she's having none of it, the kids arrive, and it's Laurie Strode's son and Alan Parrish, he's just Alan Parrish. I don't know what the actual character's name was. It's just Alan Parrish. And they want to go out to town to get some gifts for their girlfriends, basically, who are the other two friends of his that we were introduced to earlier that are also going to be at the Halloween party.
They're the two main protagonists.
Yes. Now, Laurie's son wants to go get flowers for his girlfriend, which is a nice thing. But, of course, Alan Parrish, the horn dog he is, just wants to go get booze so he can fool around with his girlfriend at said Halloween party.
He's your typical teenager.
Yeah. So, they go to town. LL Cool J reluctantly lets them through the gates of the school, and they go to town. And while they're in town, another scene happens where we cut back to Laurie and the guidance counselor again, where they are having dinner at some random restaurant. Lunch. That's right. They're having lunch at some random restaurant, and she's starting to kind of hint a little bit at her past a little bit. Thank you. At her past to what happened to her, because the guidance counselor guy who was head over heels for her still doesn't know that she's Laurie Strode, actually, instead of Laurie Tate. He doesn't know this.
Everyone knows about Laurie Strode.
Correct. Yeah, Michael Myers is like, might as well be Michael Jackson in this universe. Every single person everyone knows who he is. But I guess that makes sense, because everybody knows who, like, Marilyn Manson is, or, like, I don't know, like, what's the other guy? Ted Bundy. Like, everybody knows who Ted Bundy is.
Charles Manson, not Marilyn Manson.
Oh, yeah, Charles Manson. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Marilyn. Anyway.
Marilyn, if you, whatever reason you're watching this.
Yeah. But they're having a conversation, and he decides it's really not consequential. He basically is just trying to pull some information from her, and they're having lunch, and he leaves. And Laurie decides to day drink belligerently, where she gets lots of...
Has a full glass of Chardonnay
and asks for another one before the other one's even done yet, to which the waiter doesn't even want to give it to her, but he does.
She slams as he's pulling back up with the other glass.
Yeah. Do we ever see him come back? I think she just leaves, right?
Yeah, she left.
So she leaves. We cut back to the kids now, who are in the same town, on the same main strip. I guess this town only
They're
has
on their way to
one
go
main street.
steal
They
booze.
just left the liquor store where Alan Parrish has got a booze bottle stuck in his coat jacket like this. And they're walking down the street trying to plan out their Halloween party, and they run into none other than Laurie's son's mom. I really wish I remembered his son's name. It's hard to remember this, even though we just watched it. But he runs into his mom with Alan Parrish with the booze bottle still stuffed in his coat jacket. Thankfully, Laurie does not notice the booze bottle.
She's too worried noticing her D-Gen sons cutting class.
Laurie is not happy about him cutting class. They blame it on, we're going to get lunch or whatever, and she knows
off-campus lunch,
and she knows that's
not allowed to have off-campus lunch.
That's not a thing that you can do. Anyway, she decides to drive them back to the school, to which she gives LL Cool J the death stare and takes a year off his life. And I'm sure he was in the middle of reading more Sweet Nothings to his wife on the phone when they pulled up, but he lets them through. At one point in between then and now, mother and daughter get off of Highway 153 in California and pull up into a rest stop. And sure enough, right at that rest stop, they're the only car there except for one car, the car that Joseph Gordon-Levitt had that Michael took, basically.
I think that was his brother's car.
Maybe.
The older kid's car, because
Joseph Gordon-Levitt didn't look old enough to be driving that thing. And it was a nice car for somebody his age.
It looked like a 70s Nova.
Maybe. So the mom and her daughter get out from their road trip, whatever, and they go to try to use the houses, the ladies' room in the restroom area. Rest stop area bathroom. And they find that the women's restroom is locked for whatever reason. I don't know if it was Michael that did that or if it was just locked to begin with. So they decide to go into the men's room. While they're in the men's room, Michael, for some reason, steals her bag. They both go to sit down to go to the bathroom, and Michael walks into the men's room, probably wondering, what are you doing in here? And takes the woman's purse that was sitting in front of her while she was in the stall. And tension builds in the scene, and then Michael actually leaves.
The little girl just has no idea what's going on.
The little girl never knows.
Just humming while she's doing her business.
Right. And the little girl eventually screams. The mom finally says, that's it, I'm going to go save my daughter, because she thinks Michael's getting her.
There's a spider!
And she says she was scared of spiders. And the mom looks around, and Michael's nowhere to be seen. We then realize that he took her bag so that he could get the keys to get their car, because Michael had destroyed poor Joseph Gordon-Levitt's tires, and like by the look of the car, it was pretty banged up too. So
he just drove that thing all the way to California.
So yeah, we know Michael can drive. It's just how well he can drive is the question, and apparently not very good. Not very good, apparently. So then Michael leaves with the daughter in the mom's car and heads towards California, going after Laurie. Yeah, I was trying to say, how did Michael even know where she was? But he found the file in Nurse Marion's house. Dr. Loomis still had the file from Laurie when Laurie was still Laurie Strode.
Because she had to fake her death.
Correct.
In a car crash.
Correct. They faked her death, and then she moved to
Witness
California.
protection, California, name change, all that fun stuff. Let us know in the comments if you guys have ever had to experience witness protection. We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, give us a write-up about that. Anyway, back to it. Lori finally arrives with her son back to the school, scolds LL Cool J, but in the background, Michael has arrived in the mom and daughter's car. He finally made it to California. He finally made it exactly to where Lori is, and he's in the car right behind them at the gate to get into the school. And basically, they get in. Michael eventually leaves because I guess LL Cool J gave him a wrong look or something. He just didn't want to be noticed yet, so he leaves in his car. But the point of that scene was to say he's found her. He knows where she is. Then we cut to the next day, which basically is a classroom scene where Lori is teaching the students. I thought she was the headmistress of just
well,
the
I think
school,
she's teaching an English lesson about Mary
Frankenstein,
Shelley's Frankenstein.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, that's right, which we do have up on the shelf there in movie format, and we probably will do a review for someday, so keep tuned. But anyway, she is teaching them about Frankenstein, and one of the Lori's son, his girlfriend, is looking out the window while Lori's teaching.
And her son's
making goofy faces and making her laugh, but that's besides the point. She's looking out the window bored because Lori's talking up a storm. And she notices Michael Myers standing at one of the gates to the entrance to the school. In broad daylight. I don't know how he's not getting noticed, but whatever, that's Michael's forte. Anyway.
Broad daylight.
Lori finally asks her a question, to which that snaps her attention away from Michael, who was outside the window.
Obviously disappears.
Yeah, after a couple moments, she answers Lori's question, looks back out, Michael's gone. Big surprise. Anyway, after that, the scene is closed, and Lori decides to give her son the permission slip to go to Yosemite after all, which is why they had those conversations in the beginning of the movie. It's just to show growth that she's saying, you know what, you're right, maybe Michael isn't coming back. Worst timing ever, because he's literally a couple 30 feet away from where she is right now, but she says, you know what, here's a permission slip, son, go to Yosemite and have a good time after all. Which, if he did take the Yosemite ticket and go, that probably would have been the best case scenario for him, because he would have been safer.
But he made the plans with
he had already
and the shorties.
Correct. He had already made the plan with his buddies to have the Halloween party in the basement of the school for some reason. Anyway, yeah, she gives him that. He says, thank you. But he pretends to say, yes, I'm going to go to Yosemite to his mom, and she's very happy, and that she leaves. And
45 minutes, go back.
Yeah, yep. And the son decides to crumple it and say, no, we're still having the Halloween party, when his girlfriend asks him, what are you going to do? So their Halloween party is on. We are now on Halloween night. And basically the Halloween festivities have begun. The kids have started setting up their Halloween party. It's starting to begin in the basement of the school, and they're cooking up an insane amount of food for some reason.
Every day of the week besides Tuesday's turkey.
And then Monday's meatloaf. I think is what he said.
Yeah.
Alan Parrish said that.
They had a whole buffet of the whole week's worth of lunch besides Monday's meatloaf and Tuesday's turkey.
Right. Lori then... while that's going on, Lori is... Where is she?
She's at home.
She is at home.
And the guidance counselor...
Oh, yeah, she's at home and decides to have a date with the guidance counselor guy who wants to chew her face off. He still wants to chew her face off. And then some. And they are spending quality time together at Lori's house, where she finally lets him know, hey, I'm Laurie Strode. I'm the girl that Michael tried to kill all those years ago. And in this continuity, they are brother and sister. So she mentions that it is her brother.
That's sucky.
To which he replies, after all that's sucky, which is kind of tone deaf of him. But as far as a guidance counselor goes, you'd think you'd have a better way to say that.
He was off the clock, and he was thinking about one thing.
Yeah, he was.
And that was Jamie Lee Curtis's freaking bazoombas.
That's true, he was. To which, when he finally understands the realness of the situation, though, he kind of straightens out and realizes that we got to talk about this. While they're doing that, Lori realizes that the age she was when Michael came to kill her was that she was 17. And it turns out, earlier in the movie, we were told that it was Lori's son's 17th birthday.
Because he got a card in the mail from the deadbeat dad.
From their deadbeat dad. Actually, it was not...
2 months late.
2 months late.
It was 2 months late.
So he's well in 17 at this point, 2 months in.
That's not bad, though, for the drunk, abusive, methadone addict.
Yeah, he was 2 months late. He figured it out in the end. Anyway, The party's still going. Lori's now freaking out. The party's still going with the kids. I mean, Lori's now freaking out and checks her son's room and realizes that the stuff he packed for Yosemite is still there. So she knows he didn't go now. She then immediately goes to her room and gets a snub-nosed 38, to which the guidance counselor starts to have a little bit of confusion about. He's asking what the hell's going on. And she believes that Michael could be going after him or that he's not safe. So they go off, leave the house, and head towards the school to see if she can basically make sure the kids are safe. Because they know the guidance counselor had checked on the girlfriends of the boys.
Check the girls
already at the school, so he knows that they're there.
They all assume that the boys were gone, though.
Right.
They assume that the boys were gone.
But it's a pretty safe assumption if the girls stayed, the boys will be nearby. So then we cut back to the kids. They are having their feast, and Alan Parrish decides, what does he do? He goes back upstairs.
Get a corkscrew.
He goes upstairs to get a corkscrew. That's what it is. He goes upstairs to get a corkscrew from the kitchen of the, of the school's kitchen. The school's kitchen, where they're underneath currently in the basement having their Halloween party, but then above it is the kitchen.
Yeah, they're using a dumbwaiter to get up and down.
And there's a dumbwaiter that goes up and down, like he mentioned, that will come into play later. So Alan Parrish goes up to go get the corkscrew, and sure enough, right then in the kitchen with him is Michael Myers. We were convinced that Michael was going to put his hand or turn on the garbage disposal because he drops the corkscrew in the garbage disposal, and the kid has to reach down and try and grab it. And we were convinced that's it.
I'm not gonna lie, that was
a buzzing hand
for such a simple scene.
Yeah.
Extremely tense.
Right. Oh, like, yeah.
The tension in that scene, because you don't know whether the kid's gonna freaking
turn it on and
shred his hand up.
Michael didn't have to do anything. Michael's like, this kid just killed himself.
Michael almost just let natural selection take its course.
Yeah, the kid did not get to grow up to what's the wife's name of Alan and Jumanji?
Oh.
Sarah Whittle. He didn't get to grow up and marry Sarah Whittle. Not in this movie, at least. Not in this continuity.
No.
So he gets killed by Michael, which is off screen. We know Michael confronts him, and then it cuts, and we don't know what happened. The girlfriend of Alan Parrish is looking for him, and she goes to the bottom of the dumbwaiter to try and see if it should go back up, I guess. I don't know why she went to the dumbwaiter, but she goes there. The door opens, and Alan Parrish is sitting like this, kind of in the dumbwaiter,
leaning forward,
and she thinks he's joking around because he had been previously pranking her earlier on in the night.
Pretty much like this.
Right. She pulls him over, and sure enough, right across his neck, Michael chest, Michael has sliced him, and she screams and freaks out. As she's screaming and freaking out, Michael then arrives.
Frame.
Yeah, within the door frame behind her, Michael then arrives, and he starts going after her. To which she's freaking out. So then she has to push her dead boyfriend aside to get in the dumbwaiter herself and push the button to start setting herself up.
Gives her a little stab.
She almost makes it, but Michael just barely reaches her and stabs her across the leg here. But she makes it all the way outside of her thigh, but she makes it all the way out to the top. She's at the kitchen. She's in the top level now. The dumbwaiter went out. As she's trying to crawl out, he cuts it, and the whole thing falls on her leg. And literally, like, we were freaking out. We did not see it coming at all. Pretty much her whole leg is.
It was from like right here down, like calf down,
just gone.
It was still goes right through. It was still there, but it was hanging on,
barely by a thread. Then Michael goes upstairs because she's now crawling out of the dumbwaiter with her leg just hanging by a thread.
I was genuinely impressed with like the practical
it looks
effects
good.
With that.
They done
throughout the whole movie. The practical effects were pretty decent for the most part.
Yeah.
You could definitely see some of the slashes that looked a little.
Yeah, and we never even touched on the fact that Michael's mask changes 4 times throughout this movie.
We'll get to that
it's
later.
That specific scene too it's when he kills Alan Parrish that the mask is just completely not even close to the same.
Hands down the worst.
Yeah, the worst
mask.
Michael mask. Yeah.
And the
CG
entirety
mask.
Of all of
it's CG, so it looks terrible.
That was CG.
Yeah, what happened is they had originally had the first mask that we see in the movie, and that's the one they chose to film in the scene. Then they didn't like it and wanted to change it, so they CG'd over the old mask with a new one that they thought looked better, and it just looked like terrible. It was garbage. But that's the only scene you ever see it in anyway. And then he's wearing the old mask when he confronts Laurie later in the window. So yeah, we didn't even touch on that, but we did a little bit just then. So she is crawling, trying to get out, and Michael decides that's it, we're gonna kill her too. And he comes up to her with the knife, and I thought she was laying on the ground. He puts his boot on her neck to hold her, and I thought he was just gonna go like that and drop the knife straight in her head. And I feel like that would have been cooler, just effortless. Let it go, and basically it does the job for him. But no, he wants to get his killing in, so he instead decides to stab her in the back while he's stepping on her neck. So he's going like, I don't know how that really works, but she's dead. That's the important part of the scene. She's dead.
She done that.
Laurie Strode's son and his girlfriend that are still in the basement finally are wondering what happened to the other two, and they go upstairs and find a trail of blood that looks like orange Kool-Aid. That is now a trail from the dumbwaiter to wherever. They follow the trail and find
Alan first.
No, they find the girl hanging
from the light bulb.
By a light bulb. Michael,
that's going through her chest.
Yeah, she's got a light bulb in her heart, in her chest and her sternum. And Michael, they turn on the lights because they hear dripping in this room, and they go and turn the light on. And sure enough, the light
she's just hanging,
buzzes, and she's hanging from the light bulb.
Blood's dripping.
Gotta give Michael credit for creative kills. There's never a well, like I said, I thought he was gonna do more with that first stab with the girl, but then he put her up in a light bulb, so he made up for it.
Oh, big cut.
Anyway, they freak out, and they freak out, and just as they're freaking out, Michael appears in front of them as well, and begins to give chase to them. Laurie's son immediately knows what's going on because of the man in the mask, and he tells his girlfriend to run, and they run to the dorms, right? That's what he says. We're going to go to the dorms. We're going to call the cops. The kids are fumbling at the gate, trying to use a key like any cliche of horror movies. They can't quite get the right key in, but they finally do. And just in the nick of time, as Michael's right behind him, and they slam the gate shut, and Michael's swinging his arm, trying to hit him, and just can't quite reach. But in every kind of horror cliche, the girl dropped the keys on the outside of the gate. So Michael decides to pick up the keys and start trying to figure out which one of the 30 of them it is to get inside. They're slamming on the door behind them because there's a gate and then there's a door, and they're right here in between.
That's at Laurie's house.
And they're slamming at the door. No, this is the dorms now. They're slamming at the door of the dorms. So because he says, somebody let me in. The son says, somebody let me in, but there's nobody there because they all went to Yosemite. Michael is just about to get inside when the door opens, and it's Laurie and her guidance counselor boyfriend. And they yank the kids inside. She slams the door shut. And as she slams it shut, Michael has gotten through the gate, and the two come face to face for the classic face to face, face off, you could say, that people saw in trailers and all the stuff they used for the advertising for this movie. Yeah, that's a good movie too. Face Off with Nick Cage. That's a great movie too. But yeah, they are, and John Travolta. They are face to face on the glass, basically at the glass of the door. Laurie then reaches for her gun that she had for the previous scene, and Michael, when she brings it back up, Michael's gone. In a classic, he's the power of teleportation in this movie, as I said. Laurie takes the kids. Laurie and the guidance counselor then takes the kids, and she tells them, or she notices the wound on her son's leg, and they bring them up, set a staircase to the level of the dorms, basically. She tells the kids to get in a closet and barricade the door, and she and the guidance counselor prepare themselves to face off against Michael, who is now trying to come in from a different way. Laurie tells the guidance counselor boyfriend that, like, get out of here, you need to go, let me take care of it, to which he says no, he wants to help her protect the kids.
Can't let you do this alone.
Correct. While they're having this argument, a silhouette of a person starts coming from the end of the hallway, and the guidance counselor character, not thinking clearly, takes Laurie's gun and just unloads.
Proceeds to empty out the 6 rounds
of the cylinder into the person. Most of them miss. I noticed that from the beginning, but which actually makes sense for his character, because like a guidance counselor wouldn't be a school teacher, basically would not be, you wouldn't think would be somebody who's super great with guns. So he misses most of the shots, but just some look like they land. Laurie and the guidance counselor, whoever it is drops. Laurie and the guidance counselor start walking over thinking it's Michael, to find it's LL Cool J. The guidance counselor freaking shot LL Cool J, the best character in the movie.
The smut-writing
terrible security guard that let a serial killer into a college dorm, but he's still the best character. So he's on the ground. He has blood coming off the side of his head, and they're convinced he's dead. They thought he's done. Just when they're about to figure out what to do about that, the guidance counselor is then stabbed from behind by Michael and lifted up into the air, and the classic
starts convulsing.
Starts death, the same death we've always seen from Michael give to the people, where they start lifting up with the immense strength of him. I don't know how he does it, but he does.
And then just
lifts him up. So Laurie,
that was kind of cool, with, like the knife coming out the other side.
Yeah, right here,
pointing out.
All right,
that was kind of cool.
Laurie runs as anybody would. And she now has blood on her hands from LL Cool J trying to save the greatest character in the movie's life, but to no avail. She runs back to, there's like a closet here and a closet here. This is where the one the kids are in, and this is where she runs to hide. She runs, puts a handprint on the closet on this one, and tries to pretend that she's hiding in there from Michael.
The cut definitely made it seem like she jumped in there.
Right, yes, yeah. Michael then walks down, sees the bloody handprint on the door, and starts trying to open it up, and finally just bursts through to find that there is nobody in there. And Laurie pops out of another closet right next door, because she's too smart in this movie for him. Runs down, gets the kids that she told to barricade the other closet, and all three of them run out of the dorms.
They run to the red SUV. They get everybody in. Laurie's fumbling with the keys.
Yep. Another
of course,
horror cliche.
Can't get it to start.
Now, I thought that was just a thing about GMC, but you know what I mean? But
she gets it started,
she finally gets
and
the
then
truck to start.
She starts driving away, gets up to the gate, unlocks it, stops the car, tells the girlfriend, the kid's girlfriend, to drive them not to the hospital and not even to call the cops.
Yeah, her son still has the leg wound from when he was caught by Michael.
Just tells him to go to the next door neighbor, basically, and
call the police.
Oh, and call the police,
yeah.
But then go, but not even have him go to the hospital. Like, call the police and take him to the hospital.
He was bleeding out of his leg. Her son is bleeding out of his leg as Michael had slashed him, and she's like, "Yeah, he's good.
Just go to the neighbor.
Go to the neighbor's house." Anyway. And this woman teaches children, remember?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Undoes the kids leave. She closes the gate back up, and then proceeds to take a rock, smash the keypad.
Yeah.
And then decides it's go time to go kick Michael's ass.
Kick Michael's butt, and she breaks the in case of emergency glass for a fire axe that was on the wall of one of the school buildings, and she takes the axe, and she is now on the hunt for Michael herself. She's walking around the school screaming Michael's name.
Runs in the family.
Yeah, runs in the family, at least in this continuity. And so she is hunting him, which is interesting. Different change of pace. They meet in... Oh no, she's walking down a hallway, like holding the axe looking for him. He pops out from a side to try and slice her. She buries the axe right here in his shoulder, and he gets a quick
Pulls
slice.
it out like he got poked with a toothpick.
Michael gets a quick slice on the side of her, and she falls backwards, just barely escaping a worse wound. Like he said, Michael then pulls out the axe like it's nothing, like it's a toy, and drops it on the ground, which I thought was comical, because he's like, I don't even need this to kill you. I can just use my knife.
Has a way better weapon than just a butcher
knife. Yeah.
And just, stick with old
Jason
reliable.
would have taken that.
No, he sticks with old reliable.
Yeah, he's like, it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? That's Michael's whole thing.
He's gotten away with it for 20 years at that point, so.
That's a good point, yeah. So Laurie runs into a side classroom and hides under a table, to which Michael is suddenly on top of the table that she's hiding under now. Again, teleportation. It keeps coming back.
Doesn't hear him step onto the
Doesn't
table.
make any noise. She doesn't see him come in the room. He's just all of a sudden now he's above her.
Because as the scene progresses, she's crawling underneath these tables, and you can hear every step Michael takes on top of these tables, other than the very first one.
Yeah. She crawls underneath all these tables. Michael's stepping on each table after her. To which I thought was a little ridiculous, but whatever.
And then as soon as you said something, he starts flipping the tables.
Yeah, she kicks a chair out and goes to the other side, and I said, Michael, just eventually start flipping tables. Like, this is ridiculous, because the scene kind of went on where she was just moving table to table, and it's very obvious. He can see where she's going. Anyway, he just starts flipping tables, looking for her. So Laurie then runs out of that classroom to the kitchen again, this kitchen of this of the school is like the
has to be like central location,
the mecca of education, it seems. But she starts pulling out drawers of just thousands of knives and just starts throwing them over and over again at Michael, who's still chasing her at this point.
Just dodging them like it's not.
He didn't even have to dodge him. Laurie throws her.
She throws it so wide.
Not even close. And then she finally lands one in his chest, right?
I think so.
She finally lands one in his chest and stops him for a second. She takes two more and runs. He continues after her. And then I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, in this movie, not one of the greatest because it's fading fast immediately. Just watched it. I'm having trouble recollecting it. I believe she hides, and then he pops back out to try and get her, and she just starts slicing at his chest over and over and over.
This entire time we're watching the movie, I keep saying there's points where she just hits him once and runs, just like every other Halloween movie.
Right.
They hit him once, and then they keep running. I don't understand why you don't just keep beating him until it's brain soup on the ground.
Yeah. And finally, that's what this movie kind of was supposed, as we know how it all turned out, but this movie was made with the idea that was going to be fixed by this.
Nope.
So she's slicing at his chest. He's trying to get her, but he's missing. And she is hitting him so much, she finally pushes him off of a banister in the school dorm room, building, I mean. And he falls down onto a table like this with the knife in his chest.
Kind of has like a Jesus. Like,
yeah, a strange Christ-like imagery in this H20 sequel. Anyway, Laurie then decides that's still not enough, and she goes downstairs to retrieve the knife from his chest that was on this side, and she's going to go for the killing blow on his heart. That was what she planned. She lifts up the knife to kill him, and just before she's about to bring it down, the greatest character in the movie returns. It's LL Cool J, ladies and gentlemen, and he grabs her and stops her from stabbing him, saying, it's over, you killed him, you got him. Which at that point, I was annoyed that he is stopping her, because he should know that it's Michael Myers. You can't just beat him with one little thing.
Well, the fact that he was still on the table.
Yeah, Michael was still on the table when she went downstairs.
On the table.
Yeah.
But we completely lost. As soon as we saw
we didn't care. LL Cool J was back. That's all we were caring about. That was the greatest news in the whole movie. So he makes it out of this movie unscathed. Really?
Well,
yeah, that's true. We find out later what happened. Anyway, so the police finally arrive at the dorm. Assuming the kids must have their call. Well, they're at the neighbor's house, and their son's bleeding out, and he's passing out, trying to make a phone call. So the cops actually
decide to make a timely response.
Yeah, the police actually show up. That's because that was Illinois' cops. This is California's cops. California, for whatever reason, it is preppy college students' school, so maybe they show up faster for them. So the police show up, and they finally start taking Michael off the table and putting him on a stretcher or whatever, basically a gurney thing, to bring him into the, it's like an ambulance? Was it an ambulance, or was it like some sort of van?
I think it was supposed to be like a hearse. I think it was supposed to be like a coroner's van.
Yeah, a coroner's van, that's true. Yeah, that's probably true. And all seems well and good, and then as that's happening, LL Cool J is on the phone again with his wife, and he is telling her, "Nah, baby, it's all good. The bullet just grazed me." And we find out that blood that we saw was just a slight little flesh wound on the side of his head, and he wasn't dead.
But if anyone with slight medical knowledge, they will know the head just bleeds.
Yeah,
the head just bleeds.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why he was passed out. Because if he didn't get shot, why did he drop and pass out earlier in the movie?
I was gonna say, getting grazed, it's one of those things. His body probably still went in the shock.
Yeah, it's like, holy cow.
Especially
are we dead, basically?
Well, yeah, because the bullet's still grazed him, so it's still losing blood.
Yeah,
so
that's probably what happened. So the important part of the movie, LL Cool J is okay, ladies and gentlemen. 2 thumbs up. Anyway, so he passes by. They're loading Michael onto the coroner's van. And in any other Halloween movie or sequel, you would expect that would be it. And then that sets up the next movie, basically, for when Michael returns again and he's not dead. No. Not this movie. Laurie decides, that's it. I'm ending this franchise. I'm not even ending this movie. I'm ending this entire franchise tonight. She decides she picks up the fire axe from earlier, which somehow is now outside. Yeah. I don't know how that's happened. But
and then does my number one intrusive thought, and then reaches and successfully takes
one of the cops' guns, holds them up, and then walks over to the coroner's van and holds them up and steals the van that Michael has just been loaded into
in a body bag
and peels out. Like crazy. And it's because she decides she wants to kill Michael once and for all. She's not letting him come back to life, and she knows he will. And sure enough, as she's driving down the road in the van, Michael begins to come back to life in the body bag. And she knew this was coming, so she drives out to a secluded woody area, and basically she's gonna drive him out to kill him, but Michael escapes from the bag and reaches for the wheel to try to take over from her or reach after her, and she flips the whole van and they begin rolling down a hill.
First she hits the brakes, sends him through the windshield.
Oh, right,
and then she absolutely just
slams right
waits for
into the
him
front
to
of him.
stand up.
Yeah.
Even, come on, get up.
Yeah, because she knows. She's like, oh, we've been through this. I know you're going to get back up from this. And sure enough, Michael stands up, floors it. He's now wedged onto the front of the van, trying to look up and get back into the van. And she keeps flooring it. And
proceeds to fly off a cliff.
Yeah, she's probably paying attention to Michael in front of her, so I guess I can kind of understand it. But she goes off a cliff, and the whole thing rolls down a huge hill.
She got no seatbelt. She got no front windshield. How she's staying in the vehicle is...
Yeah. Well, she eventually... Doesn't she get launched out of it? Isn't that what happens?
Yeah, she gets ejected from the vehicle, but what ends up happening, Michael hits a tree.
He falls out. They both fall out of the vehicle. Lori's falling on this side, Michael's falling on the other. Michael hits a tree and is about to get back up when the entire van lands on him.
And just crushes his spine.
And yeah, he's stuck between the van and the tree there.
He's donezo. Lori regains herself, starts moving back over, picks the axe back up.
Yeah.
Starts walking over towards him. He's just staring at her, and he ends up putting his hand out.
Yeah.
And there's almost a moment that kind of pissed me off, actually. Kind of frustrated me. Because it started feeling like the trope of almost like the abusive person in your life, and then you start to almost
feel bad for them.
You almost start feeling bad for them and let go of all the bad stuff they'd done.
Right.
But then Lori comes to her senses, realizes, wait. It's like, because it has...
This is the guy that's been trying to kill me.
It's like,
for
this
years
is my brother. She has the mental thing of almost like my brother. Like, it's my brother.
Right.
And like, you can see the warmth start to go of like, it was kind of weird. I kind of didn't like that part for that.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just like, this man has been hunting you down and trying to kill you for 20 years.
What did she do? I mean,
as soon as she wises up, she decides to go straight Babe Ruth and take a big old swing and
with the axe and chops off Michael's head. And
gnarly.
And that is to the Halloween theme cueing in right as she does it. And you get one last really cool shot of Lori holding the axe and the head off
flies,
in the distance.
And the head, there's the severed head with the esophagus coming out of the neck too.
Yeah, gnarly.
Awesome.
And that's the end of the movie. And that's it. Cue the credits.
Roll credits, yeah.
And that was supposed to be the end of the Halloween franchise. That was what they told Laurie Strode. That's what they told Jamie Lee Curtis when they were making this movie, that it was going to be it. That was the selling point.
How many years later?
Little did we know the sequel would be coming out after this, and it would really radically change how this whole movie ended. But that was a tale for another time, basically. So we'll get into that in another movie review down the line for the next Halloween movie that takes place after this one. Any last thoughts, I guess, for this movie? Overall, how would you rate this movie, Ryan?
7.5.
7.5? Yeah. That's pretty much where I'm sitting at. I'd probably put it at 7. It was entertaining. LL Cool J was awesome. It was weird,
entertaining.
But awesome.
There was a couple just weird spots. I feel like why it kind of loses it. It just kind of fills that kind of cheesy 90s slasher flick.
Definitely.
Like, it's supposed to kind of have that feeling of like the OG slasher movies, of course.
Yeah.
So the cheesiness kind
of it.
I will say though, what gives it most of the points was honestly the cinematography for. I love the long, like the kind of some of the long cuts they did and the transition. The transitions are really good, and I was a big fan of the practical effects that they were doing.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, like we talked about that earlier. All the practical effects for the body horror and all the kills and stuff actually looks really good. So they did a good job on that. My only real complaint about effects-wise and all that stuff was the masks. The masks CGI are not good in this movie.
They CGI'd a new mask on the original mask
on
for
the
this
old
movie.
mask, right?
Because they didn't like how it looked, and then they realized.
But then they changed their mind.
And then they changed it back to the original mask.
But the CG's still there. That's the only real major issue I have with this movie. I liked that they brought some of the older characters back, like the nurse from the beginning.
A tool, to be honest.
He was a little weird.
The guidance counselor was kind of a tool.
Well, he got his comeuppance. Like Michael killed him, right? So
yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 7 as well. I enjoyed it. Definitely something that'd be fun to just pop in the background around October, Halloween time. So,
but it'll still freaking grab you though.
Yeah,
it's one of those things you could still throw on, not think about, but it can still just grab you and pull you right back in.
Yeah,
and that's what I think makes a good movie.
Yep, yeah. And so that about does it for this Brown's Video Store review of Halloween H20. I hope you've all enjoyed the video. I hope you like my co-host here, Ryan, here at the video store, and we look forward to talking to you again in another review. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and have a good night.
The more you do, I finally get paid.
Yeah, right.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.